Hello, everybody. I'm Zach Mark. Welcome to this Saturday night of the Nightly Nuge, guest hosting for my dad, Keith Mark, still taking a little bit of time off after his heart procedure last weekend. We're here with Uncle Ted, and we're going to talk some hunting. And I see the bow and arrow out.
Well, Zach, we live hands-on, boots on the ground in this American dream that is epitomized by the hunting, fishing, trapping, conservation, outdoor spirit of the wild lifestyle. So I'd like to start this one off because I know that your focus on quality of life must be approached, as is mine, as a martial art. Life should be a martial art where you put your heart and soul into being the absolute best that you can be, whether it's guitar playing or welding or being a teacher or a cop or a lawyer or a guitar player. But archery epitomizes the application of God's incredible gifts to controlling the path of your arrow life. So here we are on the Nightly Nuge celebrating a great weekend. Not a day goes by in my life where Shemaine and I don't grab our Matthews bows. And by the way, out there are no bad bows out there. Every bow manufacturer is making state-of-the-art, the most unbelievable, stealthy, efficient, accurate bows in the history of archery. So find one that feels comfortable and is effortless to draw. The main thing is that archery should be stealthy and graceful. I'm shooting a 50-pound bow here. It's one of my old Matthews Traverse, and I have targets throughout the house. People go, well, I can't practice in the living room. Oh, yes, you can. Actually, you get a proper target. Just over here, you can probably see I got a target just about 12 feet over there. And every day of my life, we usually go outside and shoot the 3D targets. But archery in these treacherous times, because the corruption, the criminality in our government and the media, it's heartbreaking. But I promise everybody, right about here, when you grab your bow and arrow, right about here, everything is perfect. And you become one with the path of your arrow. And it is a metaphor for life. I have an orange tape on the bullseyes of all my bows, so I really become focused like a samurai. So I know you've killed giant moose and turkeys and deer and all kinds of, you and I killed a giant boar together with your bow and arrow many years ago in your youth. But articulate, Zach, as a young man, I do it as an old man all the time, what the mystical flight of the arrow and the reward of pure natural venison means to a younger man like you.
You know, I think for me, it's really the journey leading up to it. It's the preparation. It's going out and shooting a lot of arrows, and not just at the standard, 20, 30, 40, 50 yards. It's backing off of a target and turning around and looking at it, at an unfamiliar distance. That's one of the things my dad and I did before we prepped for this last year's trip up to the Yukon. He would just give me the yardage, 43 yards, just something that's a little bit odd because the deer or moose or whatever you're hunting isn't always going to stop right at your 30-yard pin, and it's, about that drawing back and, slowing the breathing down as much as possible in the heat of the moment. And, just letting that arrow go. And that's really the culmination of the scouting, the putting up the tree stand, the practice with the arrow, the taking the time from, all of our busy lives to get out there in the woods and experience that. And it all, culminates when that arrow goes.
Yeah. Well, like the song Fred Bear said, I was so blessed and humbled beyond description to have met the great Fred Bear when I was a little boy back in Michigan. And he always stated that if you put your heart and soul into being a sportsman, if you tread conscientiously in the wildlife habitat, especially as a participant, when you're balancing the herd, when you kill that deer, you're benefiting the wildlife, you're benefiting the habitat, you're benefiting Earth itself. It will cleanse the soul. But you're right. The actual kill is a nanosecond of the event, but a nanosecond of the hunting lifestyle, because it's about dedicating yourself, developing archery form, improvise, adapt, and overcome. The tactician of making that shot in a twisted, uncomfortable position where you have to get your torso right so the form is proper, so the arrow is executed accurately. So you, as a young man, thank God you were raised in a family that taught you that kind of discipline, because I think if any word describes the gratification we derive from the hunting lifestyle, most maximized by the incredible close-range challenge of bow hunting with archery equipment, discipline. If you can discipline yourself where your gifts from God can execute that shot and put that arrow on the small little spot where you want, because you can't shoot at the deer, you got to shoot at the hair leading to the heart. That discipline, as a successful lawyer, as a young man, as a successful entrepreneur myself, I am certain that the big D word has been the guiding force in my happiness that is epitomized by the discipline absolutely necessary to be a good archer and bow hunter. Would you agree with that as a guy half my age?
I would, for sure. And that's, one of my favorite quotes is from Bobby Knight. And it's, the will to win is not nearly as important as the will to prepare to win. And I think you can take that with whatever you're doing in life, whether it's your job, your hobbies. Preparation goes a long way into ultimately success, but also into enjoying what you're doing. When you prepare for something well, you're going to enjoy it more.
You got it. Well, Zach, that's very articulate. You're a good man. You're a great American. You're rock solid in the asset column. So I guess between Zach, Mark, and myself, and everybody out there that lives the mystical flight of the arrow, anybody watching the Nightly Nuge right now with the young man and the old man, get a bow and arrow. Get a target and get proper direction so that you develop the proper archery form and you get that hand-eye coordination that will cleanse the soul. It's never too late. We got a bunch of guys that are giving up their bow to go to a crossbow because they've hurt their shoulders because they're shooting 70, 80 pounds. My wife, Shemaine, kills everything, as did Ann Hoyt, one of the founders of Hoyt Archery. Ann Hoyt, with a recurve, a 35-pound recurve, killed every big game animal in North America. It's not about power. It's not about velocity. It's not about strength. It's not about kinetic energy. It's about stealth, grace, and that higher level of awareness that will allow you to put your gifts from God to use to get within a bow and arrow range of a big game animal. If you're not ready to kill an animal, just get a target, and you will find that when you discover the mystical flight of the arrow, your life will be better, especially during these difficult times where people are really being hammered with obnoxious, just absolutely corrupt gas prices and food shortages and open borders and exploding crime rates, all a direct result of the intentional misbehavior and corruption of our government and media. So archery is more important than ever. It will cleanse your soul. Do it. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, Zach. Thanks for filling in for your dad. By the way, if your dad wants to take a little time off once in a while, you just did a great 2 days. You're the best.
Well, I appreciate it. And before we go, I'd like to announce the winner of another signed copy of your new album, Detroit Muscle, a CD, Gerardo Pita from the great state of Florida. He went to Hunt the Vote, sign the pledge, and put in the Patriot code TNNUSA. Congratulations. A signed copy of Ted's new CD is on the way to you. And as I did last night, I will also throw in a signed copy of one of my acoustic CDs, Smiles of Sadness. And Uncle Ted, thanks as always for your dedication to America, to your friends like me and my dad. And he's looking forward to joining you next week for more The Nightly Nuge.
Well, thank you, Zach. It's always good to see you, Zach. My love and very best to you and your family. Get out there and shoot some good arrows, and I will see everybody here next week for more Nightly Nuge, truth, logic, common sense, and the ubiquitous middle finger on fire of the American defiance. We love the American defiance. Celebrate it like you mean it.